The morning arrived softly. It was a Sunday, quiet and slow. Sunlight streamed through the window, painting golden stripes across the wooden floor. For Vi-Han, it was a rare moment of perfect peace. The usual hum of the city was a distant whisper. He stood by the window, toothbrush in hand, lost in the stillness. The world outside seemed to be holding its breath, just for him. He watched a single leaf drift down from a tree, dancing in the gentle breeze. It was a simple sight, but it felt profound. In that silence, the past felt closer than ever, just waiting for an invitation to step inside. He noticed it then, tucked away on the windowsill. A small, faded photograph. It was curled at the edges, its colors softened by time. He hadn't seen it in years. How did it get there? Perhaps his mother had placed it there during her last visit, a quiet reminder of a life once lived. He picked it up carefully, his fingers tracing the outline of a much younger boy. The boy was him, small and beaming, with a gap-toothed smile. He was standing in the garden of his childhood home. The photo was a key, and it was about to unlock a door he had long since closed. The memories came not as a flood, but as a gentle tide. He could almost smell the damp earth of that garden after a summer shower. He remembered the feel of the cool grass under his bare feet. The world was so big then, and every day was an adventure waiting to happen. That garden was his kingdom, a place of endless discovery and simple joys. He remembered the swing his father had built, its ropes rough against his small hands. He remembered the sweet taste of wild berries picked straight from the bush, their juice staining his fingers and lips a deep, happy purple. He leaned against the window frame, the photograph held close. His reflection stared back at him, older and more tired than the boy in the picture. But the eyes were the same. They held the same capacity for wonder, the same longing for something just out of reach. The quiet Sunday morning was no longer just about peace. It was about connection. It was a bridge between the man he was now and the boy he used to be. The sunbeam on the floor seemed to widen, inviting him to step back into that golden, forgotten world for just a little while. And just like that, he was there, not just remembering, but living it. The daydream was so vivid, so real. The sky opened up and the rain came down. It was not a gentle drizzle, but a joyful downpour. The world turned gray and blurry, yet everything felt more alive. He was a boy again, running out into the storm without a second thought. The rain plastered his hair to his forehead and soaked his thin t-shirt. He laughed, a pure, uninhibited sound that echoed in the empty street. Other children ran for cover, but he stayed, embracing the sudden, wild magic of the moment. He wasn't alone for long. She appeared at the edge of his vision, a splash of yellow in a world of gray. She wore a bright yellow raincoat, her hair was dark, and her eyes held a spark that matched the lightning far away. She didn't run from the rain either. Instead, she stepped into it, a quiet smile playing on her lips. He had seen her before in the park and at the local shop, but they had never spoken. She was a mystery, a silent poem he didn't know how to read. He just knew that her presence made the world feel brighter. They didn't speak. Words were not needed. He started to splash in a large puddle, sending water flying in every direction. She watched him for a moment, and then she joined in. They danced in the rain, two small figures in a vast, wet world. They were connected by the rhythm of the falling drops and the shared joy of being young and free. He remembered the feeling perfectly. It was a mix of exhilaration and a strange, gentle ache in his chest. It was the first time he understood that some feelings were too big for words. The memory was so strong he could almost feel the cold rain on his skin. He remembered the way she looked at him just for a second. Her eyes were full of a silent understanding. It was a look that said, "I see you." And in that moment, he felt seen. The daydream was a perfect, preserved bubble of time. It was a memory of a love that was never spoken, a connection that existed only in shared glances and a dance in the rain. It was a beautiful secret story that only the two of them knew. The daydream faded, leaving Vi-Han standing in his quiet, sunlit room. The present returned with a gentle jolt. The photograph was still in his hand, a fragile link to that rainy afternoon. A new feeling began to stir within him, a quiet but insistent urge. He had to know. He had to find her. What was her name? Where did she go? The questions tumbled through his mind, creating a sense of urgency that shattered the morning's peace. He was no longer content to let the memory be just a memory. He needed to know if the girl in the yellow raincoat was real. His search began online. He typed in names he vaguely remembered from his old neighborhood, scrolling through faces on social media. Each profile was a dead end, a stranger's life that had no connection to his. He felt a pang of disappointment with every click. The digital world was vast, yet she was nowhere to be found. He then sent messages to old school friends, his words feeling clumsy and strange. "Do you remember a girl with dark hair? She wore a yellow raincoat." The replies were kind but unhelpful. She was a ghost, a figment of his memory. He spent the next few days lost in the pursuit. He walked through his old neighborhood, hoping to see a familiar face or a landmark that might jog his memory. The place had changed so much. New buildings stood where old houses used to be. The garden where he played was gone, replaced by a neat, sterile patch of concrete. The search felt hopeless, like chasing a whisper on the wind. He was looking for a ghost in a world that had moved on, and he started to wonder if he had imagined it all, if the memory was just a dream. Just as he was about to give up, a reply came from an old friend, Anya. She remembered the girl. Her name was Alara. Anya didn't know where she was now, but she remembered something else. Alara's family had moved away suddenly. Anya mentioned that Alara was always drawing. She carried a sketchbook everywhere, filling its pages with the world she saw around her. This small detail felt like a beacon of light in the darkness. It was a tangible piece of her, a clue that made her feel real again. The ghost now had a name, Alara. Anya's message contained one more thing. She told Vihan that Alara had left her sketchbook behind by accident when she moved. Anya had kept it all these years, unsure of what to do with it. A few days later, a small package arrived for Vihan. His hands trembled slightly as he opened it. Inside was a simple, worn sketchbook. Its cover was soft, and its pages were filled with pencil drawings. He opened it carefully, his heart pounding in his chest. The book was a time capsule, a window into Alara's world, and he was about to look through it. He turned the pages slowly. There were drawings of trees, of stray cats, of the swings in the park. Her lines were gentle and full of life. She had a gift for capturing the quiet beauty in ordinary things. He saw his world through her eyes. He saw the corner shop with its striped awning, the old oak tree at the end of the street, the cracks in the pavement that he used to hop over. It was all there, preserved in graphite. He felt a profound connection to her, a girl he had never spoken to but who had seen the same world he had. Then he saw it. A sketch of a small boy, his back to the viewer, splashing in a puddle. The drawing was full of movement and joy. It was him. He turned another page. There was another drawing, this time of the same boy, looking up at the sky with rain on his face. A few pages later, there was a detailed sketch of his own face, captured in a moment of laughter. He had been so lost in his own world that day, he never realized she was watching him so closely. He wasn't just a part of her memory, he was a part of her art. He closed the sketchbook and held it to his chest. He might never find Alara, he might never see her again, but it didn't matter anymore. The search was over. He had found something more precious than a person. He had found a shared memory. The love he felt was not just his own, it had been hers too. It was real. The sketchbook was proof. Standing there in his room, with the sunlight warming his face, Vihan felt a sense of hope and peace settle over him. The memory was not a ghost to be chased, but a treasure to be cherished forever.